So, what do you think of when you hear the words dangerous place? Seriously, what's the first thing that pops into your head? For most people, it's probably something straight out of a movie. You might picture a dense, unexplored jungle filled with hidden traps and wild animals, or maybe a massive tsunami wave crashing down on a city. It's always these big, dramatic, cinematic dangers. But what if I told you that the most dangerous places on Earth are way more complex, and sometimes, the danger is something you can't even see? Real danger isn't always a giant snake or an earthquake. Sometimes it's completely invisible, like the lethal radiation silently poisoning the air and ground. Other times, the danger is entirely man-made, created by years of conflict, crime, or terrorism that turn everyday cities into war zones. And then you have the truly bizarre natural dangers, like volcanoes that erupt every few years, or even lakes that can literally explode without any warning, releasing a silent cloud of deadly gas. The world is full of places that can kill you in hundreds of different ways, and most of them are nothing like what you see in Hollywood. Today, we're going to count down 10 of the absolute most dangerous places on the entire planet. We're going to explore exactly what makes each one so incredibly risky, from the scorching deserts where you can die in hours, to war-torn cities where survival is a daily struggle. This is going to be a journey to the edge of what's survivable, and trust me, it's crazier than you can possibly imagine. From scorching deserts to war-torn cities, this is going to be wild. With all that said and done, let's begin, shall we? Kicking off our list at number 10 is a place with a name that tells you everything you need to know: Death Valley. Located in California, this is literally the hottest place on Earth. I am not exaggerating, the highest temperature ever reliably recorded on the planet was here. A mind-blowing 134 degrees Fahrenheit, or 56.7 degrees Celsius. To put that in perspective, you could literally cook an egg on the pavement. The heat is so extreme and so relentless that your body can't even cool itself down. Without a constant supply of water, you would die from dehydration and heat stroke in just a few hours. It's an absolute furnace. But the insane heat is just the beginning of the dangers in Death Valley. You might think a desert this dry would never have to worry about floods, right? Wrong. The landscape is so barren and the ground is so hard that when rain does fall, it has nowhere to go. This can trigger sudden, incredibly powerful flash floods that surge through the canyons with zero warning, carrying away cars, people, anything in their path. It's a bizarre and deadly paradox, a place that can kill you with heat one day and drown you the next. It's like nature is actively trying to get you. On top of the extreme weather, Death Valley has a long and mysterious history. Over the decades, numerous people have vanished here without a trace. Their cars, found abandoned on the side of the road, with their disappearances becoming local legends. It's a vast, unforgiving wilderness, and if you get lost, your chances of being found are slim to none. And if all that wasn't enough, the valley's also home to some charming residents, including venomous rattlesnakes, scorpions, and black widow spiders. They hide from the heat during the day, coming out at night to hunt. So, let's recap the nightmare scenario. You could be driving through Death Valley, your car breaks down, and you have no cell service. You're stranded in 120-degree heat. As the sun sets, you have to worry about being bitten by a rattlesnake while you desperately search for help. Then, a freak thunderstorm rolls in and you have to scramble to high ground to avoid being swept away by a flash flood. Death Valley isn't just a desert, it's a perfectly designed natural trap that uses heat, water, and wildlife to make sure that if you make one mistake, it will likely be your last. Imagine the most beautiful island you can think of. White sandy beaches, crystal clear freshwater lakes, lush rainforests. It sounds like paradise, right? Well, welcome to Fraser Island in Australia, a place that looks like a dream vacation spot but is actually one of the most dangerous islands in the world. This is a classic case of looks being deceiving. Every beautiful feature of this island hides a deadly secret, and tourists who let their guard down often pay a terrible price. It's a paradise that wants you gone. First, let's talk about the locals. No, not the people, but the dingoes. The dingoes on Fraser Island are considered the purest in Australia, but they are not friendly dogs. They are wild predators and they have lost their fear of humans. There have been numerous attacks over the years, some of them fatal, especially involving children. These animals are smart, they hunt in packs, and they see tourists as an easy source of food. You literally cannot walk around with food or leave your kids unattended for a second. It's a constant background threat that turns a simple walk on the beach into a risk assessment. If you manage to avoid the dingoes, you then have to worry about what's slithering in the undergrowth. Fraser Island is home to some of Australia's deadliest snakes, including the eastern brown snake, which is one of the most venomous land snakes in the world. A bite from one of these can kill a person in under an hour. And of course, there are also spiders and other creepy crawlies. So you can't relax on the beach because of dingoes, and you can't go for a nice hike in the rainforest without worrying about stepping on a death noodle. Sounds fun, right? But the dangers aren't just on land. You might see the beautiful ocean and think, I'll just go for a swim. That would be a huge mistake. The waters surrounding Fraser Island are a death trap. The currents are notoriously strong and unpredictable, capable of pulling even the strongest swimmers out to sea. And if the currents don't get you, the marine life might. The waters are home to sharks, including great whites and tiger sharks, as well as deadly irukandji jellyfish, whose sting is so agonizingly painful, it can cause cardiac arrest. Fraser Island is the ultimate trap, a place so beautiful it lures you in only to reveal that every part of it from the land to the sea is trying to kill you. Coming in at number 8, we have a danger that sounds like it was ripped straight from a science fiction horror movie, an exploding lake. This is Lake Nyos in Cameroon, and it sits on top of a pocket of magma. Over time, carbon dioxide gas from deep within the earth seeps up from this magma and dissolves into the cold water at the bottom of the lake, building up pressure like a giant, unshaken soda bottle. The lake becomes a ticking time bomb, holding a massive amount of invisible, deadly gas, just waiting for something to trigger its release. On August 21, 1986, that time bomb went off. Nobody knows for sure what triggered it. It could have been a landslide, a small volcanic eruption, or even just cold rainwater disturbing the layers of water. But something caused the deep, gas-rich water to suddenly rise to the surface. The result was a catastrophic explosion of gas, a phenomenon known as a limnic eruption. An estimated 1.2 cubic kilometers of carbon dioxide erupted from the lake, creating a massive cloud of gas that was heavier than air. It was a silent, invisible killer. This colossal cloud of CO2, moving at nearly 100 kilometers per hour, silently rolled down the hills and into the surrounding valleys. It displaced all the oxygen in its path. People and animals didn't even know what was happening. They simply suffocated where they stood. Within hours, 1,746 people and over 3,500 livestock in nearby villages were dead. Survivors described hearing a rumbling sound, smelling a strange odor like rotten eggs, and then just passing out, waking up hours later to find their families and neighbors all gone. It was a silent, horrifying massacre carried out by nature itself. Today, scientists have installed a system of pipes to help safely degauss the lake and prevent another disaster. But the danger is far from over. The natural wall that holds the lake's water in place is weak and eroding. If that wall fails, it won't just release the gas, it will send a massive flood of water down into the villages below. So, the people living near Lake Nyos are caught between two terrifying possibilities: being suffocated by an invisible cloud of gas or being washed away by a catastrophic flood. It's an ongoing, terrifying threat with no easy solution. For our next location, the danger isn't from nature but from something far more unpredictable and tragic: human conflict. Welcome to Burkina Faso, a country in West Africa that is currently in the grip of one of the world's most severe and fastest-growing humanitarian crises. For years, the nation has been battling violent insurgencies from extremist groups linked to Al-Qaeda and the Islamic State. This isn't a war fought on a distant battlefield, it's a conflict that has infiltrated every corner of society, making daily life a gamble. The primary danger for anyone in Burkina Faso, especially in the northern and eastern regions, is the constant threat of terrorist attacks. These groups target villages, schools, markets, and security forces with brutal efficiency. Roadside bombs, armed raids, and kidnappings are terrifyingly common. The violence is indiscriminate and aimed at creating chaos and terror. For the people living there, a simple trip to the market or sending your kids to school becomes a life-or-death decision. The government has lost control of vast swathes of the country, leaving millions of people unprotected. This relentless violence has triggered a massive displacement crisis. Over 2 million people, that's 1 in every 10 citizens, have been forced to flee their homes to escape the fighting. They leave everything behind and end up in overcrowded camps, for internally displaced persons, where conditions are dire. There's a severe lack of food, clean water, and medical care. People who escape the direct violence of the conflict then face the slow, creeping dangers of malnutrition and disease. It's a devastating cycle of suffering with no end in sight. The danger in Burkina Faso is pervasive and complex. It's the risk of being caught in the crossfire between militants and state forces. It's the danger of being targeted by extremists for your beliefs or your way of life. It's the danger of getting kidnapped for ransom. And it's the danger of starving in a displacement camp. This isn't a place with a single, identifiable threat. It's a country where the very fabric of society is unraveling, and the threat of violence and suffering is a constant, suffocating presence for millions of innocent people. At number 6, we have a place that became a household name for the worst possible reason: Chernobyl. On April 26, 1986, a catastrophic failure during a safety test at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant in Ukraine resulted in the worst nuclear disaster in history. Reactor number 4 exploded, releasing a plume of radioactive material that was 400 times more potent than the atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima. This radioactive cloud spread across Europe, but the area immediately surrounding the plant was contaminated beyond imagination. The danger in Chernobyl is what makes it so terrifying. It's completely invisible. You can't see, smell, or taste radiation. You could walk into a hotspot with lethal levels of radiation and feel absolutely fine, but your body's cells would be getting torn apart on a microscopic level. In the immediate aftermath, firefighters and plant workers, known as liquidators, went in to contain the disaster with little to no protection. They were exposed to fatal doses of radiation, and many died agonizing deaths from acute radiation syndrome within weeks. They were true heroes who sacrificed themselves to prevent an even worse catastrophe. The explosion and fire released radioactive isotopes like cesium-137 and strontium-90 into the environment. These particles settled into the soil, the water, the trees, and the buildings, where they will remain dangerously radioactive for thousands of years. Because of this, a massive area of over 1,000 square miles around the plant was evacuated and designated as the Chernobyl exclusion zone. Over 350,000 people were forced to abandon their homes, leaving behind entire cities like Pripyat to be reclaimed by nature. Today, the abandoned city of Pripyat is a haunting ghost town. Toys are still scattered in a kindergarten. Books lie open in a school, and a giant Ferris wheel stands frozen in time, a symbol of a life that ended in a single day. While radiation levels in some parts of the zone have decreased enough to allow for short, guided tours, many areas remain dangerously contaminated. The invisible danger is still there, lurking in the soil and dust. Chernobyl is a permanent, chilling reminder of the catastrophic power we've unlocked, and our ability to create places on Earth that will be uninhabitable for longer than human civilization has even existed. If you have a fear of snakes, you might want to skip this one. Seriously, our 5th most dangerous place is Ilha de Queimada Grande, better known by its terrifying nickname, Snake Island. Located off the coast of Brazil, this island is so dangerous that the Brazilian government has made it illegal for anyone to visit. And the reason for this ban is simple: the island is infested, and I mean absolutely crawling, with one of the most venomous snakes on the entire planet. This isn't just an island with some snakes, it's an island that belongs to the snakes. The snake in question is the golden lancehead viper. This species is found nowhere else on Earth. They evolved here in isolation. And because their prey is mostly birds, their venom had to evolve to be incredibly fast-acting. If they bit a bird, they couldn't risk it flying away to another island to die. So their venom is 5 times more potent than that of their mainland relatives. It's so powerful, it can melt human flesh. A bite from a golden lancehead causes kidney failure, internal bleeding, brain hemorrhage, and death, often in under an hour. There is no escape. So how many of these snakes are we talking about?
Any ideas?
Early estimates and local legends claimed there were as many as 5 snakes per square meter. While recent scientific surveys suggest the number is closer to 1 snake per square meter in some areas, that is still an absolutely insane concentration of deadly predators. You literally cannot walk on the island without the risk of stepping on one. They are everywhere, on the ground, in the bushes, and hanging from the trees above, waiting to drop down onto unsuspecting prey. The only people allowed on the island are a handful of carefully vetted scientists and the Brazilian Navy, who make an annual trip to maintain the lighthouse. There's a grim local legend that the last lighthouse keeper and his family died when snakes slithered into their home through the windows. Whether that story is true or not, it highlights the undeniable reality of Snake Island. It's a place where humans are not at the top of the food chain. It's a living nightmare, a real-life horror movie location where nature has created a fortress of venom that is completely off-limits to the rest of the world. Moving up to number 4, we have a city that has been synonymous with chaos and conflict for decades, Mogadishu, the capital of Somalia. Since the collapse of the central government in 1991, the city has been caught in a relentless cycle of civil war, clan warfare, and Islamist insurgency. For over 30 years, Mogadishu has been one of the most violent and lawless cities on Earth. The danger here isn't a natural disaster or a hidden animal. It's the constant, unpredictable threat of human violence in its rawest form. The main threat in Mogadishu comes from the ongoing conflict between the Somali government, supported by African Union peacekeepers, and the extremist group Al-Shabaab. This isn't a conventional war. Al-Shabaab wages a campaign of terror, using car bombs, suicide attacks, and targeted assassinations to destabilize the city. Hotels, government buildings, military checkpoints, and even restaurants are frequent targets. For residents, the sound of explosions and gunfire is a grimly normal part of daily life. The threat of being in the wrong place at the wrong time is constant. Beyond the organized conflict, Mogadishu suffers from an extremely high rate of general crime. Decades of lawlessness have created an environment where armed militias and criminal gangs operate with impunity. Kidnapping for ransom, carjackings, and armed robbery are rampant. Certain neighborhoods are effectively no-go zones, controlled by various armed factions. Navigating the city requires a deep understanding of the shifting loyalties and territories, and even then, safety is never guaranteed. It's a city where survival often depends on who you know and which clan you belong to. Despite efforts by the government and international partners to bring stability, Mogadishu remains incredibly fragile. While some parts of the city have seen redevelopment and a return to a semblance of normalcy, the underlying dangers are always simmering just below the surface. A period of calm can be shattered in an instant by a single car bomb. It's a city of incredible resilience, but also one defined by its scars. Mogadishu is a stark example of how political collapse can turn a thriving capital into a battlefield where every day is a struggle for survival. Our number 3 spot goes to a towering, beautiful, and honestly, terrifyingly active volcano, Mount Merapi in Indonesia. Its name literally translates to Mountain of Fire, and wow, it really lives up to that name every single day. Located on the island of Java, which is actually one of the most densely populated islands in the world, Merapi is one of the most active and dangerous volcanoes on the planet. With Merapi, it's not a question of it will erupt, but, and just how badly. This volcano has been erupting regularly for thousands of years. What makes Merapi so incredibly dangerous is the type of eruptions it produces. It doesn't just spew lava in slow-moving rivers. Merapi is, famous for generating pyroclastic flows. These are superheated, fast-moving avalanches of gas, ash, and rock fragments that can reach temperatures of over 1,000 degrees Celsius and travel down the volcano slopes at hundreds of kilometers per hour. There's absolutely no surviving a pyroclastic flow. It incinerates everything in its path instantly. It is, hands down, the most deadly phenomenon a volcano can produce, and Merapi produces them frequently. The volcano has had dozens of significant eruptions in the last century alone, with a major event happening every few years. The 2010 eruption was particularly devastating. It killed over 350 people, displaced hundreds of thousands, and sent pyroclastic flows racing over 15 kilometers from the summit, destroying entire villages. The volcano constantly emits smoke and is under intense monitoring, but its behavior can be incredibly unpredictable, making evacuations a frantic race against time. Despite the obvious and ever-present danger, hundreds of thousands of people live in the shadow of the volcano. The volcanic soil is incredibly fertile, which has drawn farmers to its slopes for generations. For them, the risk is a calculated part of life. They live with a constant awareness that the mountain that provides their livelihood could also take everything away in an instant. Living near Mount Merapi is living with a ticking time bomb, a beautiful but deadly giant that could awaken at any moment. We're down to our final two, and at number 2 is a place that honestly looks like it belongs on another planet. This is the Danakil Depression in Ethiopia, widely considered to be one of the most alien and inhospitable environments on Earth. It's a geological wonderland of vibrant colors, bubbling hot springs, and vast salt flats, but honestly, this beauty hides a truly brutal reality. This is one of the hottest and lowest places on the planet, a literal hell on Earth, where the very air can be poisonous. Let's start with the heat. The Danakil Depression holds the record for the highest average temperature for an inhabited place on Earth. Average. That means year-round, the temperature hovers around 94 degrees Fahrenheit, or 34.4 Celsius. But during the day it frequently soars to over 122 degrees Fahrenheit, 50 Celsius. There is virtually no rain, and the heat is relentless and suffocating. It's a level of heat that is, honestly, just difficult for the human body to endure for any extended period of time. But the heat is only part of the danger. The Danakil Depression is a geologically active area, where 3 tectonic plates are pulling apart. This creates a landscape dotted with volcanoes and geysers that spew toxic gases. The air in many parts of the depression is thick with poisonous chlorine and sulfur vapors. You can literally see the yellow sulfur deposits and green acidic pools bubbling away. Breathing in these fumes can be lethal. It's a landscape that is actively trying to poison you. Despite these hellish conditions, people actually live and work here. The Afar people have called this region home for centuries, surviving in one of the world's harshest environments. They also mine salt from the vast salt flats, a grueling process that involves cutting slabs of salt from the ground in the blistering heat and transporting them by camel caravan. It's considered one of the hardest jobs in the world. The Danakil Depression is a place of extremes, a stunningly beautiful but incredibly cruel landscape that pushes the limits of human survival. And the number 1 most dangerous place on Earth right now is another invisible nightmare, the Fukushima exclusion zone in Japan. On March 11, 2011, a massive 9.0 magnitude earthquake, one of the most powerful ever recorded, struck off the coast of Japan. The earthquake triggered a devastating tsunami with waves up to 40 meters high that slammed into the coast, overwhelming the seawalls of the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant. This led to a triple meltdown, the most severe nuclear accident since Chernobyl. The failure of the cooling systems caused 3 of the plant's reactors to melt down, leading to hydrogen explosions that released massive amounts of radioactive material into the atmosphere and the Pacific Ocean. While the initial explosions were contained, the ongoing contamination is what makes this disaster so perilous. An exclusion zone, initially 20 kilometers in radius, was established, forcing over 150,000 residents to evacuate immediately, leaving their homes and lives behind. Just like Pripyat, entire towns like Okuma and Futaba became silent, radioactive ghost towns overnight. The danger in Fukushima, like Chernobyl, is the silent, invisible threat of radiation. Radioactive particles like cesium-137 have contaminated the soil, forests, and water for miles around. The cleanup effort is one of the most complex and expensive environmental projects in human history. It involves scraping up contaminated topsoil, cutting down forests, and storing millions of bags of radioactive waste. And then there's the problem of the melted fuel inside the reactors, which is still incredibly radioactive and needs to be kept cool constantly. It's a problem that will take decades, if not centuries, to solve. While the Japanese government has been gradually lifting evacuation orders for some of the less contaminated areas, many former residents are reluctant to return due to health concerns. The forests and mountains in the region remain highly contaminated, acting as a permanent reservoir of radiation that can be washed out by rain. The psychological toll on the evacuees is immense, and the long-term health effects are still being studied. Fukushima is not just a place, it's an ongoing catastrophe, a stark reminder that even in one of the most technologically advanced nations on Earth, nature's power combined with our own technology can create a danger that will last for generations. And there you have it, 10 of the most dangerous, terrifying, and absolutely wild places on our planet. From the invisible poison of Chernobyl and Fukushima to the raw, explosive power of Mount Merapi and Lake Nyos, and the heartbreaking human conflicts in places like Mogadishu and Burkina Faso. It's just crazy to think that these places exist on the same world we live on. Each one presents a unique set of challenges that push the boundaries of what is survivable, whether it's through extreme heat venomous creatures or the barrel of a gun. These places are a powerful reminder of the forces, both natural and man-made, that shape our world. They show us nature's incredible power and indifference, but they also highlight the devastating consequences of human actions, from nuclear negligence to endless conflict. It's honestly humbling and, yeah, pretty terrifying. The world is so much bigger and more extreme than most of us can ever imagine, filled with beauty that can kill and dangers that you can't even see. So, now I have to ask you guys the big question. After seeing all of this, would you ever dare to visit any of these places? And if so, which one? Let me know in the comments, because that is just crazy to me. I can't imagine setting foot in any of them. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more insane content like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. Thanks for watching, and stay safe out there.